The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Africa has always been projected as the one that is receiving aid from the West. This narrative has been preached to the point that majority of us were so sad when Trump decided to cut the USAID. They are always talking about Russia being in Africa, Russia taking control, but they are not telling the world what exactly they are doing wrong in Africa. They make sure, like France, taking control over the resources. The uranium in Niger was giving energy to France while the people in Niger were suffering. We have to understand as Africans that these people depend on us. Like the West and America, making sure they give us leaders that they can easily manipulate. Africa, our problem is unity. They are making it difficult for us to unite because they give us leaders who also can use ethnicity to keep dividing us the more. Majority of us haven't realized it. And when we are even going to vote, we vote based on that I am from this tribe. The person is from this tribe. This system is used to divide us. Had it been Russia, what we are seeing in the Sahel, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso would have been history. Russia is the reason to which we are seeing this revolution in Africa.
Africa, how mechanically, what do you mean by that? Like, can you give a tangible example of how what Russia is doing impacts France economically or in a material or resource way?
Yeah, this gets into a whole, we may have to channel Putin and go back in history here at least somewhat, because if you look at France's relationship with Africa, France had a lot of extractive colonies in Africa. After World War II, it was forced to give up a lot of those colonies. But when it did so under extremely favorable trade concessions. And so, and some people call it neo-colonialism. There's a fair amount of resentment about it in Africa, in that France in particular has been quite aggressive in maintaining military forces in Africa. Of course, there's the conflicts over Algeria, and that's a bit of history that folks that are interested should explore. But if you look at particularly Central Africa, the Francophone areas of Africa, they have a long history with France in the sense of France dominating their internal politics, manipulating the internal politics through economic levers to try to keep leaders in place who would maintain that extractive colonial relationship. So the specific example, of course, would be uranium. And as we know, France is very dependent on its nuclear energy for electricity. And where does that uranium come from? Well, there's not a lot of it in France. It comes from Africa. There could be alternative supplies in Europe, and where are those supplies located? Oh, let me think. They're in Russia and Ukraine. So you can see where this becomes a real problem for France, in that within France, there's a number of revolutionary movements that are coming to the fore that are trying to get a more equitable basis of their trade relationships with Europe and with France. And so more equitable means your profit margins drop and you don't have direct control over essential resources. So that was one of the points I just mentioned. Resources and control are so critical. And with France in particular, has developed a very toxic relationship with Russia, because Russia, through some of its proxy some of the corporate paramilitaries like Wagner Group, there's the Z-Force Group, there's another one, there's some others that they have been assisting, providing security assistance and training to a lot of these groups in Africa. And recently, a number of countries have thrown France out and have changed their economic and trade relationships. It's been a cascade across Central Africa. So France obviously resents that a lot. They have been pumping both material, but also it's no longer really in Ukraine a proxy war. We're now in a secret open war between Europe, some parties in Europe, the U.S., and Russia. And a good example of that is France. There have been French Foreign Legion forces within Ukraine helping with the Scalp missile targeting and providing assistance. Well, Russia eventually got tired of that and hit one of their big staging areas and killed a number of French Foreign Legionnaires a few weeks ago. Hasn't gotten a lot of coverage in the West. That may have been the proximate trigger for Macron's recent comments and the spiral of escalation, in that France was using Ukraine to extract revenge against Russia for Russian diplomatic and security help for these former French colonies, which cuts off their potential access to resources.
Some of us still believe what this Western media spread. Majority of us are asking, why is it that we are moving from the West to Russia? Is it not the same thing? They are all the same. They are not all the same. If they are the same, by now, the pride that we have today as Africans because of AES would have been a history. Because these ones are making sure that any leader in Africa that will rise up to unite us, to bring a change, to make ourselves reliant, they take that person out. And that is why these activities are everywhere, day in, day out, trying to destabilize them so that the leaders wouldn't be focused to bring any developmental change. All that we need is coming from Russia, making sure that we are secured. And that is why when they are traveling to Russia, we see that Putin himself sends his own private jet with all the protection that they need to go there. The treatment and the respect they get. Which of the Western nation has ever invited our leaders and gave that leader that kind of respect? Recently, look at the 5 nations that went there. Look at the way they were treated by Trump, the way he was talking to them. He never treated them as one of the leaders in the world, because they know these ones are in their palm. They regulate them. You can never be in the presence of your master and expect your master to treat you right. They know the deals they have with these our leaders before they are made presidents, so they can never respect them. Now everything is coming out clear. The policies they are using, the people they give us as leaders. Unity is all that we need, and it can only be done among us, the youth. We should inculcate that in us. We should do away with the love for the West. We should be able to emancipate ourselves with all the information we have available to us today. Certain things we need not to be taught in the classroom. That classroom education was given to us to mentally colonize us and indoctrinate us. So we come out today and will still be defending everything of these people, because we are taught to love them and do away with anything African. So we can never channel our energy in the right direction. Let's love ourselves. We need to listen to these people so that we can bring a change in ourselves. It's only when we are able to change ourselves, fill ourselves with love, that is when we can channel that love towards our brothers. We saw the 60,000 youth that Captain Ibrahim Traore trained. See how these children came out with passion in them. They were even ready to fight the oppressor. This is what we lack. We need to be reprogrammed. But some of us are fortunate. Today the information is there. These ones are kids. So we, these ones that are grown-ups, need to use the internet, social media to advantage. That is why always I try to share these things, so we know their moves, so we know what they are doing to us, for us to cause a change in ourselves. We need to have that patriotism in us. This is the only way we can learn to cause that change in us, so we'll be able to train the young ones that are coming. We have a duty, and we can only cause a change in Africa through unity and not through the systems that these people gave to us or anything these people left for us. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world and in the United States of America.